From the sunny fields of Mexico to the foggy valleys of Chile, stories travel on the wind. They tell of La Segua, a creature of the night, a legend passed down through time. She has many names: La Segua, La Sayona, La Llorona. But her story is always the same: a woman betrayed, turned into a monster, always looking for revenge. Her story is a warning, a reminder of the bad things that can happen even to good people, and nowhere is she felt more strongly than in Costa Rica, in the old town of Cartago. The year is 1702. Cartago, near the Irazu volcano, is a town of cobblestone streets and Spanish buildings. Here lived María de la Luz Segura, a woman as beautiful as the sunsets. Men loved her long dark hair and her bright green eyes. Her laugh, like church bells, could stop a man in his tracks. But Luz, full of herself, only saw men as toys. Her beauty was a weapon she used without thinking. One man didn't seem to care about Luz's beauty. Captain Ignacio del Valle, a new officer in the Spanish army, was a serious man. But Luz, interested by his lack of interest, decided she wanted him. She tried to charm him, wanting to add him to her list of admirers.
Captain, I see a strength in you that's special. You're not like other men.
Maria, you've charmed me. I promise to marry you, a good life in Spain.
But Ignacio lied. He only wanted Luz, not love. He left her alone and heartbroken, her pride broken. Sad and angry, Luz went to a dangerous place. She felt betrayed and heartbroken, her emotions swirling like a storm inside her. The forest seemed to echo her pain, each step she took resonating with her sorrow. She went deep into the rainforest, to old temple ruins, a place said to have magic. The ruins were ancient, covered in vines and moss, whispering secrets of old. It was a place where the veil between the worlds was thin, where the supernatural was almost tangible. There she made a deal with an evil spirit. The air was thick with anticipation, and the spirit's presence was palpable. It was a dark entity, promising power in exchange for something precious.
I give you my beauty, now filled with anger, for the power to punish those who betray. Her voice was steady, but her heart raced. She knew the cost was high, but her desire for revenge was stronger.
The air felt strange as Luz offered her beauty, twisted by anger, to get revenge on the captain and all men like him. The spirit accepted her offer, and a dark energy enveloped her. She could feel the transformation beginning. She changed instantly, and it was scary. Her body contorted and her features twisted into something unrecognizable. It was as if her very essence was being rewritten. Her pretty face became a scary mask. It was a grotesque visage, a reflection of the anger and pain she harbored within. Her eyes burned with a vengeful fire. Her smooth skin turned cold and scaly. It was a chilling transformation, her once warm and inviting appearance now repulsive and fearsome. Her beautiful hair became a nest of snakes, hissing with anger. Each snake seemed to have a life of its own, writhing and coiling, reflecting her inner turmoil. María de la Luz Segura was gone, replaced by the vengeful spirit La Segua. She was no longer the woman who had been wronged, but a powerful entity driven by a singular purpose, to exact vengeance on those who betrayed her. The first to meet La Segua was Esteban Morales, a rancher who bragged about the women he knew.
Riding home one dark night, Esteban heard crying. He stopped, scared, and called out.
A woman came out of the shadows, her face covered. She cried and asked for help.
Esteban got off his horse, and the moon came out, showing the woman's real face.
Esteban was terrified. It was La Segua, her eyes burning. He screamed as La Segua got her first victim, leaving only the sound of his fear. Everyone in Cartago heard about Esteban. The old story became real. Men, especially mean ones, started to fear the dark. People wouldn't travel alone, and mothers warned their sons about being vain and disrespectful to women. La Segua became a nightmare, showing up on roads, her cries echoing. She tricked men with her fake beauty, then showed her real monstrous face, scaring them. One stormy night, Tomás Rojas, a kind carpenter, walked home alone. The rain poured down heavily, soaking him to the bone, but he didn't mind. He was used to the unpredictable weather of the countryside. The muddy road was slippery, and the wind howled through the trees, creating an eerie atmosphere. Despite the storm, Thomas felt a sense of peace, knowing he would soon be home.
Suddenly he heard the sound of someone crying. It was a haunting, sorrowful wail that cut through the noise of the storm. He stopped, feeling sorry, not scared. He saw a woman, her face covered by a veil, leaning against a tree. "Are you okay, Mum?" he asked kindly, his voice gentle and full of concern. The woman's sobs grew louder, and Thomas felt a deep urge to help her.
The woman looked up, and through the veil, Thomas saw the pretty Luz he once knew. Memories of their childhood together flooded his mind. They had been close friends, and he had always admired her beauty and kindness. But now she seemed different, almost ghostly. He wondered what had happened to her.
"I'm lost," she whispered sadly. "Can you help me?" Her voice was filled with despair, and Thomas, only wanting to help, reached out his hand. He felt a strange chill as he touched her, but he didn't pull away. He wanted to comfort her, to ease her pain.
Her veil fell, revealing La Segua's scary face. Her eyes were hollow and her mouth twisted in a grimace of pain, but Thomas wasn't scared. He saw her pain, her suffering. He felt a deep compassion for her, understanding that she was more than just a frightening apparition. She was a soul in torment. La Segua stopped, surprised by Tomas's kindness. She felt a little bit human again. She looked down, her anger fading. For a moment she seemed almost normal, like the Luz he remembered. His kindness had touched her, breaking through her rage and sorrow.
"Go away, Thomas," she said, sadly and meanly. "You're not like the others." Then she disappeared. Her voice echoed in the night, filled with a mix of sadness and anger. Thomas stood there, feeling a strange mix of emotions. He had seen the human side of La Segua, and it had changed him.
After that, La Segua seemed less angry. She still appeared, but not as much, and her cries weren't as full of rage. The villagers noticed the change too. They spoke of how the weeping woman's visits had become less frequent and her sorrowful wails less intense. Tomas's act of kindness had made a difference, bringing a small measure of peace to a tormented soul. Hundreds of years later, people still tell the story of La Segua. It's a tale that has been passed down through generations, whispered around campfires and shared in hushed tones in the dead of night. Some say it's just a story to scare kids, a cautionary tale to keep them from wandering too far from home or talking to strangers. Others believe she's still out there, a spectral reminder of what happens when people are vain and mean to women. They say she roams the countryside, her ghostly figure appearing to those who need to learn a lesson. But La Segua's story isn't just scary, it's a lesson. It teaches us about the consequences of our actions and the importance of treating others with kindness and respect. In a world where people are still mean to women, where beauty is all that matters to some, La Segua's story is a stark reminder that appearances can be deceiving. La Segua's story is important. It highlights the strength and resilience of women, even in the face of adversity and mistreatment. She shows the anger and pain of those who are hurt. Her story is a voice for those who have been wronged, a cry for justice and understanding. She shows the strength of women even when things are bad. Her tale is a testament to the enduring spirit and unyielding courage that women possess. Her story tells us that real beauty isn't how you look, but how kind you are. It's a reminder that true beauty comes from within, from the goodness of our hearts and the kindness of our actions. So the legend of La Segua lives on, a warning that some hurts never go away. It's a timeless tale that continues to resonate, urging us to be better, kinder, and more compassionate human beings.